Latest border stats, about 30,000 undocumented migrants have been deported since Donald Trump took over a little more than 2 months ago. Illegal crossings from Mexico into the USA down 94%. A colossal victory for Donald Trump. No doubt about it. And the people who oppose him are trying to chip away at that. There's no doubt about that either. Okay? So enter the ICE chief, Tom Homan. He is in charge of deportations. I spoke with him yesterday. So, Mr. Homan, I've noticed when you appear on the network news and some cables that the questioning is often hostile to you. It's not neutral questioning. It's like, hey, what are you doing? How many people did you throw out today? And I'm sure you noticed that too. And I'm saying to myself, why? Do you have any idea why that so many of the American press corps are antagonistic to you?
Well, I think it's because I served President Trump. I mean, when I worked I was a third in command of ICE under Barack Obama. We had over 409,000 removals, and they weren't hostile then. So I think working for President Trump makes me hostile, anybody that serves President Trump. But look, I'm proud to work for President Trump. I think he's the greatest president in my lifetime, and especially when it comes to border security and immigration enforcement and national security. So they don't bother me. Look, if I can live in their heads rent-free, I'm okay with that because I'm going to keep telling the truth, whether they like it or not. My talking points never change. I don't care if I'm talking to a conservative or talking to a liberal. They're going to hear the same thing because what I give them is facts. They can like it or not like it, but they're going to hear the truth.
Okay, but they don't like it. Now, when you were working for President Obama, who deported more undocumented people than any other president in history, all right, and most of those were at the border that got kicked back fast, and they didn't have this asylum con that they rose up under President Biden. When you were working for Barack Obama, in my research on him for my book, Confronting the Presidents, he didn't want an open border. He didn't want chaotic immigration. Am I correct there?
Well, his first term, like I said, we removed a lot of people in the first term, and largely because we're counting Border Patrol removals with ICE removals, and that's how come the number got so big. But he was pushing for that. He was pushing for more removals. But under the second term, the Obama term, we pretty much got shut down. I mean,
Really?
once he got the name deporter in chief, operations really slowed down, and that's one of the reasons at the end of that administration that I decided to retire because after 4 years doing that, I was tired of it. But in the beginning, he was about securing the border. In the last 4 years, he was not.
And you think it was political pressure, obviously, from the left that caused that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, one of the beefs against Homeland Security is they are deporting non-criminal migrants along with the criminals. And I believe that's true to some extent because how could you possibly know when you go sweep a whole bunch of people, say you're a criminal migrant married to a person who isn't a criminal, stuff like that. How valid is that criticism that ICE is now deporting people quickly without due process that aren't criminals?
Well, they all get due process. I mean, the non-criminals, where does most non-criminals get arrested? Sanctuary cities. And I've said this for 2 months. Sanctuary cities are going to get exactly what they don't want. More agents in the communities and more collateral arrests. Because if we can't arrest a bad guy in the county jail, one agent arrests one criminal alien, and they're going to release them. Like the major cities of this country, sanctuary cities, you're going to release them back in the community? Okay, fine. We're still going to do our job, which means we're going to go to the community and we're going to find him. And when we find him, most likely they're with others that are illegally in the United States, but not a criminal. Well, we're not going to tell ICE agents, forget the oath we took, ignore the immigration law, walk away from these people. No, they're going to come too.
Okay.
So when you look at the collaterals and non-criminals, most of them are arrested in sanctuary cities because they forced us in that position. We're going to arrest them.
That's an important point. So when you do a sweep, if you find a non-criminal migrant, that person gets taken into custody, correct?
Yeah, to be clear, when we do a target enforcement operation, we know exactly who we're looking for, and we're most likely we're going to find them. And when we go to that location, look for that target, that criminal target. Many times, most times he's with others, especially if they're at a work site. They're coming too.
They're
So
coming to.
sanctuary cities are forcing us into that situation. So I've said this many times, let us into jail. That means less agents in the neighborhood. That means less collaterals, but they refuse to assist ICE. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing.
Just to be clear, when you do an enforcement sweep, it is based upon information provided about criminal aliens. Is that correct? Local,
Yes,
state, federal information, right? That's the
exactly
sweep.
right.
Okay, stop,
Everybody,
stop.
I wouldn't call it a sweep, Bill. I call it a target enforcement operation. We have a target. We got
Okay.
a sheet. Who's the alien's name? What's his immigration record? What's his criminal record? Where most likely will we find them? And it has to be approved by a supervisor. So we go on the street looking for somebody. We have a whole fugitive operations sheet that details who this person is we're looking for.
And where do you get that information? From the states, from the locals? Where does that come from?
Through various databases that we use at ICE. I can't tell you all of them because the law enforcement sensitive, but we do targeting based on criminal databases. We use all sorts of social media. We use a lot of things I don't want to discuss here, but we create those target bases.
So you get the stuff, and if there's an undocumented alien who is not a criminal, they get swept up, they get deported sometimes, and it depends on the process. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, Michelle Wu in Boston is heading for collision with Tom Homan, who's speaking to me right now, again this weekend. She basically said, we're not going to cooperate on any level. We want undocumented people in the city of Boston. And she's backed up by the governor of Massachusetts, Maura Healey. Do you have any plans to take action against Mayor Wu and Governor Healey?
Actually, you're the first show where I can make this announcement. So as I promised at CPAC, I was going to go to Boston. I'm going to bring hell with me. And we did. I was in Boston this last Tuesday. I started an operation with ICE, HSI, ERO, FBI, ATF, DEA, U.S. Marshals, and the State Department. And in a 5-day operation, we arrested 370 illegal aliens in Boston and the surrounding communities in Massachusetts. And 205 of those were significant public safety threats, including 4 murderers, child rapists, armed robbers, a couple of Interpol red notice arrests. We arrested a lot of bad people in the last 5 days in Massachusetts, many of them in Boston. We just put the numbers again today. You're the first show I've actually been able to talk about this. The numbers just got put out today, Bill.
Excellent. But Ms. Wu is defiant even in the face of those incredible stats. And they are incredible if you know the city of Boston. It's not New York City. It's not nearly that large. So I'm wondering whether the next step for the Justice Department, it would be the Attorney General, Bondi, is going to go after people like Michelle Wu for violating some tenet of federal law. Do you believe that will happen?
I hope it will happen. I know Pam Bondi's already put sanctuary cities on notice. I know she's already sued a couple. I sent that report to Pam Bondi this morning on who we arrested in Boston and the surrounding area and the public safety threats that we had to take off the street. Because if we got to go to the street and arrest people like this, the job of ICE is already dangerous, but to go arrest an aggravated felon, murder, public safety threat, in the general public not only puts the officer at risk, it puts the community at risk. So I sent the numbers this morning to DOJ. So I think Pam Bondi will take action and do what she can do. But she's already started suing sanctuary cities. So God bless Pam Bondi. I think she's going to do the right thing, and I think she's going to try to hold these sanctuary cities accountable in courts.
All right. So it'll be civil litigation, not criminal litigation, correct?
I'll leave that up to Pam Bondi. We'll see what happens.
But it would be amazing to see, a big city mayor or a state governor like Pritzker in Illinois, or even, here, Hochul in New York. She plays a double game. The damage that the Biden administration did to the country, and I know this is a political question, but it has troubled me from the very beginning, seems to me to be incalculable as far as the Treasury is concerned, crime is concerned, social upheaval is concerned. Do you have any idea why Joe Biden opened that border for 3.5 years. Do you have any idea why that man did that?
No, I can only guess. And I've said many times, I worked for 6 presidents starting around Reagan. Even when Clinton and Obama took steps, as we discussed, to try to take action to secure the border. No one did more than President Trump. He was unprecedented at his success. We had the most secure border in my lifetime. But Joe Biden's the first president in my lifetime who came in office and unsecured the border on purpose. That wasn't mismanagement. It wasn't incompetence. He knew exactly what he was doing, along with Alejandro Mayorkas.
But there must
So
be
why would
chat, though. There must be chat in Homeland Security and in the Border Patrol precincts about the why of all this. What
I
did he
think
think he was
I think
accomplishing?
I think they saw future political benefit and let millions of people into this country. Remember when he did everything to secure the border, what else did he do? He overturned the Trump census rule, which means millions of people released in sanctuary cities will be counted next census, which will lead to more seats in the House for the Dems. I think they saw future political benefit by releasing millions of people in sanctuary cities in this country. That is my belief.
Final question. California has 50% of the undocumented migrants. Newsom is now backpedaling, as you know. But LA and San Francisco are still sanctuary cities. Do you expect anything to change in California?
I can tell you, ICE is going to. We'll be going to LA and San Francisco very soon. In sanctuary cities, we can't arrest a bad guy in jail. We'll double the man force in those cities. But we're going to do our job, sanctuary or not. If you're a sanctuary, you want to step aside and watch us protect your communities, then have at it. Just don't get in the way. Don't cross that line of knowingly harboring, concealing illegal alien. Don't cross that line of impeding us, because there will be consequences. But we're coming. We're going to do this job. President Trump promised American people we're going to do this. American people given a mandate. This is the number one issue. We're going to keep President Trump's promise. We're going to be going to every sanctuary city and arresting public safety threats, because that's what the American people want.
All right. Unless the court, Supreme Court, says you can't do a certain thing, you're not going to defy the federal court order, correct?
No, we're not going to do that. We're not the Biden administration who ignored the courts on forgiveness of student loan. They told me he couldn't do it. He did it, and he fought him every step of the way on that. Well, no, this is a law and order administration. We're going to do the right thing. Absolutely.
All right. Mr. Homan, you're welcome anytime. Thank you for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
All right. I want to thank Mr. Homan again for being kind enough to come in here. We know everybody is after him for an interview. Now, I'd like you to tell me what you thought of that interview. Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Name and town if you wish to opine. Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Good, bad, too hard, too soft. Did I leave anything out? Give me your review. I like those reviews.